This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thitoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
All right, attack and dominate. That is what we will do today on this Monday. Thank you all for tuning in. Dark and early on a Monday. Morning Juice, Tito, Carpenter, Big Mo in the house. Brody is still probably recovering from South Bend. Big show lineup for you today. 2 full hours right here on YouTube, the Fan app, HD3. You can download the show anytime. Catch us from 10 a.m. to noon on 10 TV Plus. Also replaying the show on the Fan 2, 1460 a.m. from 1 to 3. And you also catch us live on Facebook and Twitter. Morning Juice sponsored by Riverside Bank in Dublin. Event Risk Elite Protection. Big show lined up for you today. Bill Bender will join us at 6:20 for the Sporting News. Lots of football talk. Good morning, General. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Thitoff. How was your weekend, sir?
It was great. It was football weather on Saturday out there. It was a little wind to deal with.
You mean Sunday?
Sunday, it's what I said.
Saturday was 80 degrees.
You're right. I meant Sunday,
Sunny.
Bob. It was Saturday somewhere on Sunday.
Stark difference between Saturday and Sunday this week. Weekend, first half, really nice. Second half, maybe not so much.
Ohio State gets a big win, 34-0 over Wisconsin. We will talk about that quite a bit in the second hour. We'll hear from Ryan Day as well on that one. The latest polls are out. Ohio State, obviously, still holding on to that number 1 spot, but Indiana now is inched up to number 2. Since those teams could not play each other until the Big Ten Championship, they both hold serve. We could have a 1 versus 2 in the Big Ten Championship game. Texas A&M is 3, Alabama 4, Oregon 5. Oregon and Georgia are both kind of in the same realm, I guess I would say. Georgia's 5, Georgia 5, Oregon 6, Georgia Tech 7. Bob, are you more surprised by Indiana or Georgia Tech this year?
Well, I mean, I thought Georgia Tech would be pretty good. They almost beat Georgia last year. They played well throughout most of their ACC slate. What are they? You said they're 7?
They are 7th at 7-0. Yes, sir.
The fact they beat, like, you look at their schedule, I don't think it's overwhelmingly surprising. Like, I would have thought that they may at worst have been a 1-loss team at this point.
Yeah.
So not all that surprised. Indiana, I thought they would be good, but honestly, I thought that they would backslide from last year. They're a better team than they are last year. I didn't realize how good Mendoza was. And so he is playing incredibly well, getting that victory out there at Oregon. That is probably more surprising to me. If saying Indiana's a top, 20 team this year, okay. Saying the Georgia Tech would have been like top 15, I would have said that was okay. Both of them surprised with where they're at now. But I would say with Indiana being number 2, that is far more surprising.
Okay, you mentioned, and I felt the same way, Indiana would take a step back this year. They are better than last year's team.
Yeah.
Is Ohio State better than last year's Ohio State team?
So I said that, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago that they had a chance to be better than them. I said I thought they were more talented after watching them through summer camp and everything that they were able to put down in August. And I was just looking and doing some math, and some of the guys that left, very talented players, very, very experienced and skilled guys, good football players, but maybe just not as physically gifted. And like some of these younger guys that maybe haven't played as much, should they be able to develop and have marry some of that experience and skill with some of their raw athleticism, then they have a chance to be better. And I like Matt Patricia and the defense, better than what they were running with Jim Knowles last year. Offensively, going to be different without Will Howard. Mm-hmm. You'll lose Emeka Ibuka and 2 really good running backs, but really, offensive line coming back, they were probably going to be better. The receiving core as a whole, I thought, would probably be better with the improvement of JJ and the emergence of Carnell and his improvement. What Ennis could do, sliding Max Clare in. And it was going to really come down to that running back room. I think Bo Jackson's played really well. CJ's done some good things. They're still trying to figure that out, but this has the makings of a team that might be better than last year's team. I think that there's a realistic shot that, in a couple of weeks we'll say, maybe definitively that that's the case.
All right, Bob, make us smarter. Here we go. Let's do Today in History. You ready for fire over there?
Start the fire, Billy Joel.
I will start the fire.
I can start it.
Well,
Thought I was starting it.
Okay.
is everything potted up? We got everything going?
Says it's playing.
Okay.
Well,
Let's roll through it, Bob. Or you want to actually? Let's do this first. Work on that for a second. I have another question for you. I wanted to ask you about the game this weekend, Bob, with Ohio State. You mentioned before you thought Isaiah West would get more play this week, and he looked pretty good out there. I thought that could be an important part of this running game.
yeah, Isaiah West was, I thought, very impressive. He led the team in carries, which
Right.
I did not anticipate.
Yeah.
Just depending on how that game went, 17 in the first, 0 in the second, 10, 7, putting 17 back-to-back. And that Wisconsin defense played pretty good at some different spots. The offense didn't have a whole lot to write home about. But I thought Isaiah West, when you looked at him in the backfield, did some good things. His ability to run the ball, how he was breaking tackles, getting downhill. I thought it was pretty darn impressive. Most of that stuff was later in the game, obviously, but still looked pretty darn good, I thought, with what he was bringing to the table.
All right, let's give it a shot here. We'll see if we got this up and running yet on my end. There we go.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
All right, General, take it away.
Alrighty, it is Monday, October 20th, the 293rd day of the year. 72 days remaining in this 20 and 25, and finally starting to feel a little bit like Ohio fall, which is cold and rain for the most part. So getting a chance to taste that. This day, 1803, Congress ratifies one of the largest land deals in the United States history, the Louisiana Purchase. 1910, the ocean liner, the RMS Olympic, is launched. It was the sister ship to the Titanic. And then 1962, let's see if we've got the board working over there. Monster Mash hits number 1.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
We need to get Tyler over here and see if I don't know if anyone knows how to operate this board. We're over there talking and getting some things going here. Trying to figure out exactly what is going on with everything. Working through here. 1963, Jim Brown, notable running back for the Cleveland Browns, Thitoff, and
sir.
what some people consider the best running back of all time. Sets a single season record by rushing for, at the time, 1,863 yards. I'm guessing that was still a 14-game schedule.
Yeah, back then it was
as
a
well.
14 game. It might have been 12. Might have been 12.
It may have been 12 as well, which would have been pretty interesting to be able to watch and take a look at there. Oh, there we go. We got the whole production crew
yes.
coming in now,
Ryan Baker, the touchdown maker.
coming through. This date, 1973, Rolling Stones coming in with another hit as Angie hits number 1 on the Billboard.
Got Angie.
We'll circle back and figure a lot of this out here at some point in time in the future. 1973, President Nixon declares Jim Thorpe the greatest athlete of the first half of the 20th century. Jim Thorpe is?
Yes, of course I do. We took away his medals and gave him back
Yeah.
after he was dead.
Well, yeah,
Got the
exactly.
Pete Rose treatment.
Took him away while alive, handed him back when he was gone and dead. And maybe we got something going here. Let's see if we can hear a little Monster Mash from 1962. And
Okay.
still no Monster Mash as Baker left, and we don't have it still.
That's all right.
Okay. This date, 1977. Ronnie Van Zant and Jim Gaines of Leonard Skinner. Friday they played in their last live show. Today they unfortunately passed away with 4 others in a plane crash. And then in this date, 2003, the first album by Amy Winehouse, Frank, is released. You know, one of my... Oh, there we go.
I
might be late to the game, but I get there.
There you go. That's key. Well, let's go back. I mean, we got the Monster Mash lined up. Let's take a little taste of that.
Absolutely do.
I was working in the lab late one night when my
Some people
eyes
could consider this the best Halloween song of all time.
I think it probably is. I can't think of a better Halloween song. Can you?
Suddenly,
I mean, I don't know if Thriller is really a Halloween song, but some people may say
he did the
that.
Monster Mash.
Your thoughts on that?
I think, look, the Thriller thing,
It
yeah,
caught
wasn't, I
on in a flash.
don't know if it's considered like a Halloween song.
I think
though.
it wasn't really a Halloween
Yeah, but
song. I
it's
think
one
the
that's-
video has
Yes.
made it more of a Halloween event.
So the show I did this weekend,
Yeah.
I actually sang a punk rock version of Monster Mash done by the Misfits.
Oh, you did?
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah.
if you ever want to hear that, that's a very heavy metal version. That's
And you sang it.
shouted it.
Shouted. I got you.
I shouted it.
I got you.
There we go. This thing, as I mentioned, 63. Jim Brown set that single season record with 18.
Cleveland Browns' success in 1963 can be summed up in 2 words: Jim Brown. Jim jarred opposing teams for 1,863 yards, an NFL record. In the first game of the year, Brown takes a flip from Frank Ryan, and the Washington Redskins are still wondering where he went as Jim bulls through the Redskin reservation for 80 unbelievable yards and a touchdown. When the Browns met the Giants in New York, Jim Brown was at his ground-pounding best, and the Giants were jolted 35-24. Jim eludes or outruns the entire New York defense on this 72-yard touchdown trip. The Browns finished in second place and earned the right to represent the Eastern Conference in the playoff bowl in Miami.
There we go. Jim Brown running through the Washington reservation. Really leaning into that Redskins name.
They were. Yes, they
Love
were.
that there. Angie by the Rolling Stones hitting number 1.
Angie,
You sound just like me.
Angie, when will those clouds all disappear?
Not a fan of the Stones ballad?
I don't like the Angie song. No, I think that I don't like. It reminds me of Chopped Broccoli by Dana Carvey.
Oh, classic.
It does
Same
kind of sound
thing.
like Dana
Yes.
Carvey. I've never thought about that, but it does.
I can't think about one without the other.
And then 77, obviously, the plane crash with Van Zandt.
Three members of the
Gaines.
country rock group Leonard Skinner were among 6 people killed when a twin-engine plane crashed in a southeastern Mississippi swamp. The dead were lead singer Ronnie Van Zandt, guitarist Steve Gaines, and Gaines' sister, vocalist Cassie Gaines. Authorities say it appears the pilot was trying to crash land the plane after running low on fuel but struck treetops near Macomb, Mississippi on the Louisiana border. As leader of the group, Van Zandt helped create country rock hits like Free Bird and Sweet Home Alabama.
Free Bird and Sweet Home, Alabama. We've got some birthdays today. Mickey Mantle, born on this date, 1931.
The Yankees go on the road and won't be back until Memorial Day. May the 30th, doubleheader against the Minnesota Twins. First game at 1. Here's the payoff pitch. This is it! There it goes! It's out of here!
There we go. That was his 500th home run. Born on this date, 1950, should be 75, but passed away. My goodness, 8 years ago, the legendary Tom Petty. There we go.
Age of 30 are saying, what the hell's a jukebox?
It's a good point.
You know? When was the last time you
They-
saw a jukebox?
They still, like the local cantinas, I think some of those have them in
Well, they
there.
have like the big physical
It's not
jukebox,
a
like those
jukebox.
digital ones.
It's a digital one
Yeah,
on the
that's what I
wall.
mean. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, that's.
I guess still is. Yeah.
I mean, it's a jukebox of sorts.
Yes.
I mean, that's.
I remember when the CD jukeboxes showed
Oh
up
yeah,
in
they
pizza shops.
pull them out and
Yep.
move the CDs around. It was pretty darn impressive. Can't wait to hear this one. Turning 67 today. It's hard to believe he's this old, starring in a ton of different movies. Viggo Mortensen.
Hold your ground! Hold your ground! Sons of Gondor! Of Rohan! My brothers! I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day. An hour of wolves and shattered shields when the age of men comes crashing down. But it is not this day. This day we fight. By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West!
There we go.
I think the only thing I've seen him of his.
Really?
The only thing I've seen, though, is A Perfect Murder.
Eastern Promises.
A Perfect Murder.
G.I. Jane.
Didn't see G.I. Jane.
Any of the Lord of the Rings.
I think I watched part of one of them, but I don't remember. I may have seen it in the theater and didn't pay attention to it.
He's been in a ton of stuff. He's really good.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he was 67. The 49th Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, turning 61 today. Snoop Dogg.
Chickens looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. Step up in this mother, just a swing in my hair. Trick, quit talking, quick walk if you down with the set. Take a put some grip and take this on the jet. Out of town, put it down for the father of rap. And if you happen to get cracked, trick, shut your track. Come back, get back, that's the part of success. If you believe in the S, you'll be relieving your stress.
I don't think that was the original version. It feels like it may have been cleaned up a little bit there.
That was
Bob.
the clean version. Snoop turning 54. He sold 35 million albums in his life. So pretty darn impressive for the 54-year-old. Ed Hale turning 51, the singer. Most importantly today, turning 46, John Krasinski, better known as Jim off The Office.
Ring, ring.
Oh, yes.
This is a great one.
Hello, this is Dwight Schrute from the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. Wow, that's great, because I need paper. Excellent, then you are in luck, because we are having a limited time offer only on everything.
Wow, this is my lucky day.
Ask him his name. What is your name, sir?
I am Bill Buttlicker.
Really, that's your real name?
How dare you? My family built this country, by the way.
Be respectful, Dwight, please.
Yes, Michael. As I was saying,
Son,
we're having a limited...
Speak up a little bit louder. I'm hard of hearing.
He's hard if he's an old man.
Okay, as I was saying, right now we are having...
Talk louder.
Okay, our prices have never been lower.
Son, you have to talk louder.
Never been lower.
Louder, son!
Buttlicker! Our prices have never been lower!
Stop it! That is totally inappropriate. You never yell at the client.
Now you listen to me, sir.
Give me the phone. Mr. Buttlicker.
Give me the phone.
I have to put you on with my boss.
Well, I should hope so. Who is this?
Hello, this is Michael Scott, regional manager.
Well, this is William M. Buttlicker.
Hello, Mr. Buttlicker. How may we help you?
Michael, I like the sound of your voice. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy $1 million worth of paper products today. See how it's done?
Thank you very much, sir. I don't think you'll regret it.
You are the master. There is one condition, Michael. Yes. You have to fire the salesman that treated me so terribly.
Don't do it, Michael.
$1
$1 sale.
It's so great. All of that is a hypothetical training exercise. Oh, absolutely tremendous. Good job out of the crew right there. Paige Beckers, WNBA star, turning 24 today. And then passing on this date, 1994, one of the legendary old movie stars, Burt Lancaster.
What do we got here?
She fell.
Field of Dreams.
This child's choking to death.
Get her up.
Hold it steady now. Hot dog. Stuck in her throat. Oh, she'll be all right. She'll be turning handsprings before you know it.
Thank you, Doc.
No, son. Thank you.
Oh, my God, you can't go back. You can't go back, can you?
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I best be getting on home before Alicia begins to think I got a girlfriend.
That's remarkable. That had to be his last movie, I'm guessing.
I think
correct?
it was.
I mean, he passed away in 1994. When did Field of Dreams come out? 93?
I think it was maybe 93, probably. Yeah, it may have come out after he died. I don't know. He may have filmed all the stuff that came out after he died. I'm not sure.
Unbelievable. Some holidays, observances today. It is International Chef's Day, National Brandied Fruit Day. How about that? National Day of Writing, National Suspenders Day, and World Statistics Day. And those are your historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date, October 20th, the 293rd day of the year, and 72 days remaining in this 2025.
Well done, as always, General, folks. Coming up next, big weekend in college football. We're going to catch up with our friend Bill Bennett for the Sporting News. This is Morning Juice.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. My good friends over at Sleep Better Columbus want you to know that if you're 65 or older, enjoying those golden years, but maybe you're dealing with restless nights, you need to listen up. Are you tossing and turning, struggling with sleep apnea, and that leaves you wiped out during the day? Well, it's time to reclaim your rest with Dr. Mark Levy at Sleep Better Columbus. As a leading provider in non-surgical sleep apnea treatments, Dr. Levy helps you breathe easier and sleep deeper with custom oral appliances, a comfortable alternative to CPAP. The best part is that Sleep Better Columbus is in network with most medical insurance plans and is a proud Medicare provider, so your coverage can work seamlessly with Sleep Better Columbus. And as we head toward the end of the year, don't let those benefits go unused. You don't want to wait to use your deductible. Act now to make the most of it with Sleep Better Columbus. Call Sleep Better Columbus today at 800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com. Once again, that number, 800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com for your consultation. Sleep better, live better, you've earned it.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I. And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence. We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together,
established the field of neuromuscular medicine, and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum. Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried. Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Your child's oral health milestones matter. By age 1, see a pediatric dentist to establish good oral health habits. At 7, see an orthodontist to check your child's bite, teeth, and jaws. Around 15, visit an oral and maxillofacial surgeon to have your child's wisdom teeth examined. Remember, milestones met, healthy teeth set. Visit milestonesmet.org.
Hi, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I'm Penn Holderness. You don't have to have an amazing race to the doctor, but you should make time for routine cancer screenings.
I schedule my mammogram and other cancer screenings around my birthday and then treat myself to lunch.
I do too, because, of course, everyone likes lunch.
The C word can be scary, but routine screenings can detect cancer before symptoms appear.
And early detection equals better outcomes.
Go to preventcancer.org to find out which cancer screenings you need.
One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
All right, Morning Juice. Tito, Bobby, Big Mo with you today. And now we bring on Bill Bennett with Sporting News. Bill, good morning, my friend. Ohio State's performance against Wisconsin, how would you grade it?
Well, I don't know what else you can say about Julian Sayin. There's somebody that's vaulting into the Heisman discussion. It's a near flawless performance, spreading the ball to Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith. The defense pitches a shutout. It's pretty complete in every way. I know Ryan Day, as we've talked about, is finding every way to keep this team moving forward and trying not to get complacent. But that was not a complacent performance in Madison.
Oh, they looked really good. Looked very efficient against the Badgers team that obviously was somewhat overwhelmed, just given the fact that they've been beat up and hurt. I mean, this team now, Bill, they've been number one. I think everywhere else was changed around in the top 10. What is the distance, or what are the tiers? How does the top of college football look to you when you start to try to project this next month and change heading into the playoff?
Well, I had this debate over the weekend, and after Miami lost, and Miami, that happens with them. We kind of built that in that they might lose a game like that. Louisville had that game right in the first 5 minutes, jumping out 14-0. I would say, and I want to hear what you guys think, if I was picking the next three teams, the three teams that actually go after Ohio State and make it interesting, I would say it's Indiana, which is wild. I mean, they look good again. Alabama, who might have the most talent other than Ohio State, and Georgia, who, despite a defense that isn't dominant at all, they rolled up 510 total yards against Ole Miss over the weekend, and Kirby keeps finding ways to win.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good call there on that. It's hard to gauge how good Oregon is, and I'm not sold on A&M. I think Oregon had 750 total yards offensively against Rutgers on Saturday. But yeah, I think those are the next one. Alabama to me is probably the biggest threat. I'd probably rank them Alabama, Georgia, Indiana in that order. Bob, how would you rank them?
Oh goodness,
like Alabama, Georgia,
Indiana. I
think
Indiana is better than both of those teams.
I think I'm stubborn. I think that's what it is.
Is there how much of that brand element comes into this conversation, Bill? Where people have a hard time. I mean, Vanderbilt we saw just cracking inside the top 10, but when you see teams like Indiana and Vanderbilt, and regardless of what you've seen on the field, people go to talk about them, and you see the brand and you see the decal, and you're like, I just can't understand why we don't believe they're as good as what our eyes are telling us.
You know what? But the fact that you had no hesitation in saying Indiana, and they are number 2 in the country, and they are very good on the line of scrimmage, and they, the dominant running game, and the thing that Ohio State, Indiana, and Alabama all share right now is their quarterbacks are playing at an extremely high level. I mean, Ty Simpson's been awesome for Alabama after that first game. Indiana, to your point, they haven't lost, and Fernando Mendoza had 4 more touchdowns, and the prospect of a Big Ten championship game between Ohio State and Indiana, which is looking like a very real possibility with 5 games left, I think it would be competitive, and most importantly, I think it would be a very fun game watching those two play.
Bill, I think I figured out why I can't put Indiana at number 2. I think for me, it'd be like having a box of Raisin Bran that's got honeycomb in it instead of Raisin Bran. It wouldn't taste the same to me because it's got a Raisin Bran box. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but I mean, I don't know why you would buy have honeycomb in a Raisin Bran box, but you never know, right? I think, man, that threw me off. I do believe that Indiana is a very good team, and the fact that, like, Vanderbilt, they're a very good team. And 10 years ago, would you have dreamed that Vanderbilt would have totally, like, the better team for 4 quarters than LSU, which they pulled off on Saturday as well?
Is Ole Miss, Bill, like, I watched them play really darn good football for about 3 quarters and then melt in the fourth. Are they as good as we thought? Is Georgia better? I mean, I'm just trying to rationalize some of the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the SEC, and I'm struggling with what I'm seeing on the weekends.
Well, I think part of it is they don't have dominant defenses. That Ole Miss Georgia game, there wasn't a punt until like 12 minutes left in the third or fourth quarter. I think third quarter. I don't want to be a hyperbole or anything, but the defenses weren't great. Georgia doesn't have that. Alabama doesn't have like an overly dominant defense. That was a little bit of a shootout. So I think that's part of it for me. There are a bunch of very good teams in the SEC, but I don't know that there's a truly dominant national championship caliber team outside of, I just think because of the talent Alabama has, Kalen DeBoer is doing a nice job in big games, and they do have a little bit of physicality with Jam Miller that they could be that team that eventually wins the SEC.
Bill Bender joins the Sporting News. Yeah, Bob and I were talking earlier about the surprise of like Indiana, yes, and Vanderbilt, and not to mention Georgia Tech being ranked 7th in the country now, undefeated 7-0, and the front runner in the ACC. Do you think they end up winning the ACC when it's all said and done?
That conference is getting a little more wide open, and because Miami had their mulligan, whatever you want to call it, Carson Beck throwing 4 interceptions. Georgia Tech's kind of that team nobody wants to keep winning, but well at Duke. Haynes King did not throw the ball well, but he's had 3 games this year with 200 passing yards and more than 100 rushing yards. So he's that do-everything guy for them, shaping up to be a huge game between Georgia Tech and Georgia at the end of the year. And, I mean, I'd keep an eye on Louisville. They're a team, they have the one loss, but that was a big win for them. That race could get a little messy, which could end up costing them a second playoff berth.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to see because that is 100% correct that they need a little bit of help to get that second one to be a 2-bid league. Folks, I don't know if anybody truly believes that they're that at this juncture, especially if Miami. Let's just fast forward. If Miami beats Georgia Tech and they're both one loss, do you think they both get in?
I'm not sure, and I think probably with one loss, but I think they'd have a really good chance at that point. But the wrinkle in the whole playoff picture, and probably the most significant game Saturday in a lot of ways, was Notre Dame beating USC. Because I don't think Notre Dame loses again. And I think if they get to 10, they're going to find a way to get in the playoff. And I don't know which conference that's going to come at the expense to. It could be one of those SEC teams. It could be that second ACC team. So there's a little bit of pressure on those teams not to have that second loss.
Are you, after watching Saturday's performance, do you feel good enough that this Notre Dame defense can help enough? I guess the offense will carry the day, but is good enough now that this Notre Dame team is not just a playoff contender? Because I think the function of looking and them getting in was just really based on their schedule and obviously those 2 very tough losses at the beginning of the season. But do you think they're a viable national championship contender?
I mean, they got there last year, and I don't know if their defense is better than last year, but it has improved with each week. They have a dominant running game, though, with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. I almost messed that one up. And C.J. Carr continues to progress at quarterback. I think they're not going to be penalized as much for those 2 losses because Miami's probably going to be in the playoff. And right now, Texas is 7-0 and favored going into Death Valley on Saturday against LSU. I mean, who thought that would ever happen? So I think this Notre Dame team is very capable of getting back to that point. I don't know if I have them in that tier of Indiana and Alabama, but if they continue, I guess you should, because they did beat Indiana last year, and Marcus Freeman's done a very nice job of getting the Irish out of that 0-2 hole.
It is so interesting to me, Bill. I think that this year there'll be more debate. I think we have a lot of 1- and 2-loss teams where they're going to have to make decisions on the committee about who they're going to leave out. It won't be clear cut, I don't think, just based on the way the schedule's going to play out. And if you look at this, the fact you've got the SEC and Big Ten now with all these teams in the conference, there's never a balanced schedule where everyone's playing the same type of opponent. For instance, going the rest of the way out, Georgia's got to play. They play Texas, currently ranked 22nd, and they play Georgia Tech on obviously a neutral site game there. And then they got Florida, Mississippi State, and Charlotte. When you look at A&M, though, A&M still has to play at LSU, at Missouri, and at Texas to close the season for them. I mean, it's going to be an interesting debate to see if a 1-loss team with a weaker schedule is left out of a 2-loss team that has a tougher schedule.
You just said it. I'm wondering at what point they're going to do that. That you put a team, maybe even, I don't think they would do it, but let's say a 3-loss team had a ridiculous schedule and the 2-loss team be I don't want to pick on them, but Illinois. Mm-hmm. Do you think Illinois gets in at 10-2 with the argument that, hey, our 2 losses are Indiana and Ohio State? That Indiana, they weren't necessarily competitive in those games, but they could say, hey, we got to 10 wins. as opposed to some 9-3 team like, let's say, Texas A&M, who beat Notre Dame in non-con play. I hope at some point we put the team with the tougher schedule in.
And it's going to be hard to try to balance that, like you mentioned it, Bill. Just the asymmetry in the scheduling, as everything, has shifted so much. One of the teams that jumped into that top 10, and we talk about this scheduling. Really, it's the SEC, as you mentioned, doesn't have a great team, but a lot of really good teams. I think LSU sitting here at 5-2 now, and trying to reconcile what they are under Brian Kelly and what has his tenure looked like there since he's taken over. It seems, Bill, like we're on the cusp of it being another disappointing year after that loss to Vanderbilt. For the first time, I think, in about 35 years that they've lost to the Commodores. Where do the Tigers go from here? Are they a playoff team to you? Do they need to be a playoff team for Brian Kelly?
I don't think they will be. And if you look at the back half of the schedule, it's going to be tough. And it starts this week against a very good – if they lose that night game against Texas A&M at home where they're so good at night, then some of that's going to start again. And this coaching carousel, it is getting wild. I do have a question for you guys that you could take into your next segment or whenever, because I have a piece today. I've been asked, is Florida or Penn State the better job?
Oh.
I'll give you my take is Penn State has had a much better record in the playoff era and has sent more guys to the NFL. You find the right guy at Florida with the consistent top 10 recruiting classes, is that the better job? I think it's closer than it appears.
Well, what's interesting about that, Bill, is I was having conversations about this, when Signetti obviously re-signed his deal and Indiana paid him a ton to stay and, not leave and not entertain, obviously, a job that a lot of people thought was a job that anybody built 15, 20 years ago. When you're getting into the journalism business, you have a coach that's good at Indiana, they're wanted by Penn State. Well, they're probably going to Penn State. And in 2025, the fact that that's not happening now is interesting. Recent success matters more now than ever because, Bill, I don't know that the kids you're recruiting today at Florida, they remember Urban Meyer as a coach at Florida, like in the success that they had. And so there's a monetary component of it, but you have to be able to garner some momentum to get some things going. Penn State's been much more good in the recent, and I think that's why they made the move on James Franklin this year. If you can recruit nationally, which I think that you can, you have some opportunities, but I think location matters more. And I say location meaning like proximity to a metro area is important for a lot of these guys when they, they're coming out. And I don't know that Penn State, they have more recent positive history and people remember them being good. And there's a lot of great NFLers that came from there. But I think the fact that it's in the center of Pennsylvania, Bill, is probably its biggest drawback that it is going to have a hard time overcoming.
Right. And the guy that takes Penn State over, you can be a playoff regular there.
Yes.
James Franklin could have been a playoff regular there. The challenge at Florida is they've press reset so many times since Urban. Nobody's lasted more than 4 years. You've got to give that next Florida coach some time because if you let him bring those top 10 recruiting classes in and they can get it rolling, I mean, our kids probably don't know unless we've told them about him, but they don't remember the Steve Spurrier heyday. An 18-year-old doesn't know anything about that. They do know who Saquon Barkley and Micah Parsons are, though.
Yeah, they do. And that's, you're right, the Florida thing, the instability of that job has been amazing to follow that and see. It feels like Florida may be a spot for, I don't know, like a James Franklin type. Maybe it'll get into the playoff.
That's what I was going to ask you, Bill, and this is something that's bigger. I go, Florida thinks this is the thing with perception versus reality. They've had 4 double-digit win seasons, 2 of them, I believe, by Dan Mullen since Urban left. And that's basically been 14, 15 years. They have no SEC championships, no playoff appearances, nothing of note. Like they think they're on the doorstep, but in reality, I think they're driving around the neighborhood. Like James Franklin has put Penn State on the doorstep to success. would he be a good hire there? And do you think he would be an acceptable hire for their fan base?
Well, he would have to be. Like, who is going to satisfy Florida in this coaching cycle? I don't know that Lane Kiffin would go there, and I don't know is there a huge difference between Lane Kiffin and James Franklin. In fact, when Billy Napier was fired, we put out a list and said, James Franklin's the best candidate for this job. And if Auburn fires Hugh Freeze, I'll probably say James Franklin's the best candidate for this job too, which is, that's telling you something. One wild card, and I know we all know him a little bit, Alex Golesh would be a good candidate for Florida. Why wouldn't you? Look what he's doing at South Florida. That's what the Gators want to be offensively and defensively. He beat them this year.
Bill, we appreciate the time, buddy. Thanks so much. We'll chat with you again next week, man.
Hey, anytime, guys. Have a great week. I appreciate you both.
You bet. That was Bill Bennett of Sporting News joining us right there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these coaching moves with Florida, with Penn State.
Well, what's interesting about the Golesh situation is I was listening. By the way, I mean, Florida, did they win on Saturday?
Yeah, they had to eke out a win against Mississippi State.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, who gets a conference win and gets fired?
Right, yeah.
I'm like, did I miss this? I'm pretty sure when the game closed, Florida had won that game. But one of the guys I heard, they were talking yesterday, Chris Doring, who's a Florida alum, and he goes, I don't think Florida goes with the up-and-comer. He goes, I don't think they go with somebody who has not had a Power 4 job and had success there. As much as like Alex Golesh could be the answer and maybe is the right answer.
Right.
I don't know. He goes, they feel like they've probably been burned a little too much trying to take that guy as opposed to. But although like Dan Mullen had there were guys that they had brought in. McElwain had been, places before, but I guess just most recently with Billy Napier, like maybe they feel like going to a guy from a group of 5 school doesn't understand that climate, even though Golesh is, from a couple 100 miles away in South Florida.
And yeah, Bob, but I'm starting to think about the Power 4 thing, though. If they go to the Power 4, like how many attractive Power 4? I'm trying to think of one that. How
many coaches would you want?
Right.
And also, how many of those coaches that you do want would leave their current school?
Right.
Like there's a lot of questions, and people I know are lamenting these giant buyouts. But if you're Florida, like you'll put anything down for anyone, and probably Penn State will too.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
You're not going to be able to discount shop when you're trying to, kick the door in.
Yeah, so getting the win against Mississippi State and getting fired, that's tied into the fact it's a bye week now for Florida, and that's what they want to do.
I think they were waiting to fire him after.
They got Georgia as their next game, so they get a bye week, and they get to host. They don't host Georgia. They play at Jacksonville at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. But, yeah, I think that they wanted to. And I think the Georgia game's important to them, and I think they were hoping to get light a spark if you get somebody new in there. We've seen sometimes in coaches, they bring a new coach in, and it changes things a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on that one as well. We'll do more of the coaching talk and cover a couple other topics as well next when we quick hitters with our man Big Mo. This is Morning Juice.
Hey, Columbus. It's Lorenzo Styles Jr., Ohio State student-athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to fund a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Hey guys, 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty here, and I'm the Innovation Ambassador at FAIR, Food Allergy and Research Education. I would say the most challenging thing as a parent of a kid who has a food allergy is probably the ignorance that I myself had in the beginning. I didn't know what anaphylactic shock was. I didn't know the dangers, let alone the things that she needed to be able to have a normal life. When you go to drop your kid off, and every single time in the beginning, we'd have to go through everything she was allergic to. Preparation is everything. And me, for playing football for 13 years, it was all throughout the course of the week. It's getting ready for game day. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy-friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real victory. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever. Wow. That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
Cancer screening can save your life. Begin cervical screening at age 25. At 45, colorectal and breast screening. At 50, discuss lung screening with a doctor. Find resources for free and low-cost screening at cancer.org/getscreened. This is a public service message from the American Cancer Society.
Bobby Carpenter, husband, father, Buckeye. Jeff Thitoff, husband, father, idiot. This is Morning Juice.
All right, Morning Juice. As you know, because if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, know Brody Wells. We do have Big Mo, and he's going to lead us here with the quick hitters. I got to fire it. I'm firing over here.
Presents.
Let's try it now. We'll do it now.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
All right, Big Mo. First of all, how was your weekend in Marion? What was your event like?
It was great. We had 2 nights of shows, probably about close to 170 people overall.
Good.
So it went really well, and I got to act like a fool. So it's a
Congratulations.
great weekend for me.
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, we did kind of touch on it a little bit, but one of the big things this weekend, Florida fired head coach Billy Napier Sunday, a day after an error-filled game against Mississippi State that they ended up winning. Overall, Napier, over 4 seasons, 22-23, including 12-16 in SEC play. He was 5-17 against ranked opponents, including 0-14 away from home. But through that time, he declined to give up the play calling role, despite everybody basically saying that he needed to. So, like we said, we touched on this a little bit, but Bobby, where does that Florida job rank?
Is it the best job out there? I think 15 years ago, unequivocally, you say yes. Today, I'm not quite positive. They have just, it became a little bit like Texas, where there's everything telling you it should be a good job, but then why are like 3 coaches in a row struggling?
Right.
I mean, are they just that bad at picking people? Is it a good job that gets messed up by the other people that are involved? And this is the thing, as you go to Florida, you might have 4 or 5 bosses. You got the AD, the president, are they aligned? You've got different boosters who might think that they're in charge. I mean, there's just a lot of misalignment possibly at the top. And I think that was the same thing at Texas that was going on there. Now, I thought Sark had that thing turned around, and then this year looks like it's they're struggling a little bit. We'll see if they can continue to keep pulling out of that nosedive and get some things going again. But I mean, those jobs, when you get them, you're supposed to be in the top 10 every year.
Interesting, Bob, with the I wonder when or if the money will ever run out, because now Florida's looking at having to pay
Don't ever underestimate people's willingness to do in desperate times. The scent of desperation reeks over Florida, and as much as they were willing to maybe buy out Billy, like now it's been 15 years.
I know.
There's people that are getting ready to die that want to see another championship. I'm serious.
Bob, you're right. Listen, so they owe Napier $21 million.
Pocket change.
It's
Penn State says
there's
hold
no
my
offset.
beer.
There's no offset language in that one.
Good for him.
He gets half the money within 30 days. Half the $21 million in 30 days, and then the rest of it's paid out in annual installment, 3 annual installments. So the other $15 million will be $5 million a year for 3 years.
I like that too.
They're still paying Dan Mullen. They got to pay the new coach now coming in.
I love it when you have a 3-coach little Neapolitan spread there.
Same thing in 2018, Bob. They were playing Will Muschamp. They were playing McElwain and Mullen.
Perfect.
All at the same time. So
it's amazing when you're paying 3 coaches how you're not getting better. You should keep them all there.
3 head coaches? Yeah,
Bring
you got them all
in.
right there. Right. You think there's a chance Franklin goes there?
If I was Florida, I would try to hire James Franklin.
You would?
I think some of the fans would be like, well, he's never won a national championship. But you know what? It's been 15 years since you guys have even won a conference championship.
Right.
So quit talking about national championships. James Franklin, at a minimum, will make you a lot more okay.
Yes, you'll get okayer is what you'll get, Bob. You'll get okayer.
You'll at least be in the conversation right now. Like, isn't that what you want, is to be like 6-1, 7-0, maybe a 5-2 with a good win and 2 tough losses? Like, he would at least have you in that conversation every year.
He would make you really good for the 6.5 days leading into the big game, because you would thought, like, hey, this team's, we're undefeated or whatever, we're ranked number 4. We got a shot against this team coming up 6.5 days, and they blow it, and then everything goes to
so
hell.
maybe you never beat Georgia again.
Right.
But you're like in the conversation for potentially,
yeah.
Like, all people really want is in November. It's a great problem to have, complaining about losing a game that would have got you into the SEC championship, but you're still going to get in the playoff or something like that. Like,
yes,
complaining about losing 10 games, like that would be a problem that Florida would love to have.
Yeah, the last couple of years, Florida's been at the point where it's like, I hope we get a win in November, a signature win in November if we can get for the season. Not we have a chance to play for the SEC or a chance to get to the playoff kind of thing is what it's been like.
Like, you go back and look. It's ironic because both of these schools were in the exact same spot.
Mm-hmm.
What would that have been? 12, 13, 14 years ago now?
Okay.
2011.
Yeah.
Ohio State and Florida play each other in the Gator Bowl. Both of those teams limp in there. Florida beats Ohio State. Florida hires Urban Meyer from that point on.
Yeah.
Plays in a bunch of CFPs. And by the way, they're on their second coach since then. Has won 2 national championships, played for another, been in some other playoffs. What has Florida done since then? Like, that's if you're Florida, that's what you have to ask yourself. 15, 14 years ago, we were in the same position as Ohio State. Coach had left. Things were in a little rough spot. Whatever. Well, Urban came, flipped over here, and he took that job, and he won a national championship and got everything going again in the right direction, and Ryan took it and amplified it. But what has Florida done since then?
Right.
Outside of fire and hire more coaches.
Bill Evans, one of the inaugural members of our chat Hall of Fame, mentions last time a coach in a Power 4 conference was fired after a conference win, it was Jimbo Fisher, 2023 at Texas A&M.
There you go.
Wow. So it's been a while on that one. So, yeah, Jimbo Fisher still holding the title for highest buyout ever paid to a college football coach. And
it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to bring Jimbo Fisher into Florida.
Oh, let's think about that.
Boy.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not, Bob. It's not a terrible idea. It's an upgrade.
There's been worse.
There has been worse, yes.
Like, there's talk that they may try to move on from Mike Norvell at Florida State and bring back Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Or not Billy Napier, bring back Jimbo Fisher there.
Yeah. Jimbo Fisher.
I mean, I'm just...
Yeah.
These are ideas that are happening, and you look and, like, well, why was this guy fired? What happened? Like, what... If you want somebody that's established, then this is kind of what you got to do.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to go get Kalen DeBoer. I mean, Bama got lucky because they were able to pull somebody in who had just been in the college football playoff, and Kalen DeBoer. And their fans still want to fire him half the time.
Right, yeah.
You know, like they're just waiting for him to lose another game. After Florida State this year, week 1, I mean, they had the pitchforks back out again, you know, and now they've won some games, so they're good. But I don't still feel like they're fully sold on the guy.
There is still no better job in college football than fired head football coach of a Power 4 conference.
Depends on what you want to do.
What do you got next for us, Bob?
All right. Jets, the winless New York Jets.
Still winless.
The only winless team have benched Justin Fields after their loss, or actually during their loss to the Panthers. At the time, he was about 6 of 12 passing, 46 yards. Just not a good showing. So the question's out there, is it time to say Justin Fields' career is a disappointment? Tito, let's take that one.
I think it's been a disappointment, but it just makes me a Justin Fields apologist or a Buckeye goober or whatever. I still can't feel like it's all on Justin Fields. He had such a rough start to his career with having all the different offensive coordinators every year. Not a great supporting cast.
Look at the teams that he's played for.
Yeah.
And the situations that he's been put in. He's got to own some of this.
Sure.
And there's a lion's share, and there's excuses and there's explanations. You can't make excuses for him because there has been some poor play on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, we'll see how this all develops with Caleb Williams and if they're able to turn him into something or turn him into trash like they've done a lot of their other quarterbacks. The Pittsburgh mess last year, not a great spot.
Right.
And then the Jets, Aaron Rodgers couldn't win with the Jets. That was a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I like Aaron Glenn. I was hoping he would be a better head coach, and assuming they don't fire him, maybe he can turn this thing around at some point. He's a former teammate of mine. I think he's really good. As relating to players, I don't know how much talent they truly have on that team. They seem to be undisciplined. They seem to have some issues, but I can't. It's not a good situation there for any quarterback. So there is a lot of onus that has to go on him. But I'll probably reserve about 30% of it for the situation as well.
I how many think Justin Fields, goes through the debacle in Chicago with the Bears, gets to Pittsburgh, and I'm starting to think give him a year.
Because he's shown flashes.
Give him a year, though. And then they benched him and brought in Russell Wilson. And they put Russell Wilson after 4 or 5 games.
He's not referred to as Russell Wilson.
I know he's nice. I know.
Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited, I know. I didn't want to say it because Brody took the button with him to South Bend, so we can't even press it here now. But, Bobby, it just seems to me like Fields has gotten I wish he would have gotten a full season starting in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? I wish he would have gotten that. I'd have a better understanding of where he's at. But it's an awful situation in New York, and it feels like his career is going to end up being a lot of that, where he'll be a starter for a bad team who's got another quarterback either in the future or right there on the bench waiting, because the Jets are going to draft a quarterback in the NFL draft coming up this year, I would have to believe. And so his tenure, I know he got $30 million guaranteed, 2 years, $40 million overall, but and they haven't said if he's going to be benched for the rest of the season or not. They haven't announced that yet.
Sometimes you just got to get him out of there, man. I don't know if a benching is the worst thing sometimes for those guys. Sometimes you just got to get out of there. You going back out there isn't helping your situation.
Do you think it's a matter, though, that he hasn't been in an offense that fits his style yet? I thought Chicago was that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. But do you think that could play something into it?
I think not having consistency or continuity and never being really in the same offense for consecutive years. Even in Chicago, they had two head coaches. And Eberflus is an idiot.
Fair.
Well, maybe did Eberflus coach him for a year? Or did he?
I thought he did coach for a year. Did he coach for 1 year?
Yeah, for one. Okay, yeah. And he's incompetent at best. So the thing is, Mo, when you never are able to go into the season having played in that system in a couple of years where you feel confident and comfortable in it, it's really hard to be good. And some of it, you could maybe want to tweak the system and do some stuff. And I think they're actually doing some things that are okay with him. But just his probably familiarity with it is hard. And being a young quarterback, he's not Joe Flacco that's played 18 years that can show up on a Wednesday and go play. It takes guys a long time. And that's why you see veteran players do it and young guys struggle where they get traded and they have to go somewhere. And it's wow, it takes them a minute to kind of settle in.
Yeah. All right. That's it for our quick hitters portion of today's show. Coming up next, we'll do a deeper dive in hour number 2 into the methodical win for Ohio State over the Badger. Hear from Ryan Day next. This is Morning Juice.
Bobby Carpenter here with the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. The thing I like about sports is that it prepares you for life, especially team sports. Surrounding yourself with the right people, letting them do their job makes you better. Riverside Bank doesn't have a ton of people, but their people have a ton of experience and know how to get the job done. They're all about quality over quantity. Here's Chuck Moore, CEO, and Travis Sanders, president of Riverside Bank of Dublin, on how they win with people.
A team's success can be directly tied to the quality of its players, coaches, and leadership. In sports and in business, talent alone doesn't win. It's why we focus on building strong relationships with our clients and why we strive to always offer the best advice, the best products, and the best customer service for our clients.
Thanks, Travis. We want them to focus on their business and their people and let us handle their banking needs.
Tune in every day for the Riverside Bank of Dublin Sports Money Report. Visit their office at 6300 France Road in Dublin or even online at riverside.bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment? Facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It all connects. The girl who walks for hours to bring home the family's water, the school she can't attend most days, her little brother's belly laugh, her dreams of being a teacher, an engineer, the mayor. It all connects. But at Child Fund, so do we, through everything we do, so every child can grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Because we need each other. Learn more at childfund.org.
Wildlife around the globe needs help. And when you help protect them, you become a friend of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Thank you for helping protect wildlife around the globe. Without you, there's no them. Learn more at sdzwa.org/friend.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. One man is a national champion, NFL veteran, and local business leader. The other man is Tito. This is Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
Julian Sayin in the shotgun. Awaiting the snap from Carson Hinsman. Wisconsin shows blitz. Snap to Sayin. Pressure coming. He steps back to throw. Slides to his left. Cranks and fires deep down the middle of the field for Tate. In the air. Grabs it. Comes down with a ball. And it's going to be a touchdown. Carnell Tate, 33 yards. Grabs that heave from Julian Sayin. And he caught it between a couple of defenders. And the Buckeyes get on the board first, leading 6-0 here at Wisconsin. Caught the ball, lost his helmet. Bobby came down in double coverage. A great pass. What was more impressive to you, the pass or the catch?
So I'm glad the catch was amazing. The thing is with Julian, like he makes things in the pocket look really routine. And I don't want it to be undersold how impressive it was that he was able to slide in the pocket and do what he needed to do to reset his feet, move around, avoid a rush, and then put a ball like that right in between two defenders. It was a great catch. Don't make no mistake about it. The coverage was pretty good. They were open. That window opened and closed pretty quickly, though. But Carnell was able to go up and get it. The catch was great, but I really want to focus on the fact of how good Julian is. Just because people maybe don't see him run a lot and don't think of him as a really good athlete, relative to like Lincoln or Ryan, what we've had here in the past, a Justin Fields, if you will, or a Will Howard, and some of the guys that Ryan's had in here and how they've played. But man, he is really stinking good in the pocket and moving around, and that ability to slide to his left, slide up, and then get his shoulders reset and throw the ball was awesome.
It was such a ballsy pass. You know what I mean? Look, it's a damn tough pass to throw. You've got to have a lot of confidence in your abilities and your not the job security, but I'm saying you have a lot of confidence in where you are, what your standing is to make that kind of throw. Because if Ohio State, if he doesn't make that throw, Ohio State still finds a way to probably score on that drive kind of thing. I mean, like I don't want to say it was an unnecessary risk, But if he doesn't make that pass and checks down somewhere else, it doesn't affect, I don't think, the trajectory of the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, the game maybe looks a little different. You don't get that highlight, but yeah, his ability to go and slide and do that, I get it. Like, yeah, maybe they could have scored somewhere else and everything and scored 4, 5, 6 plays later, whatever it would have been. But that was an awesome, I guess, display or example. And a lot of people were lamenting the fact, the last couple of weeks that all Ohio State does is they run the ball, they run it up inside, it's not exciting, and all these other things. Well, they opened up the game on their first drive. I think they only ran it once.
Ran one time. They got 7. He was 7 for 7 in the one run, and the run didn't do much.
They're throwing the ball every time, whether it's checkdowns to the outside, all of the above. I think Ryan and Hartline, I think they made a point to do that. I don't think anything they do is on accident, and everybody was complaining or this and that. I'm like, well, we can come out, we can throw it every play if you want us to throw it every play. Like, teams are going to give us that option. And you saw how far back everybody was playing on Wisconsin. It's like, well, if you want us to sit here and take 7 to 12 yards every play, we can do that.
He started 23 out of 25 in that game. Finished 36 out of 42, 4 touchdowns, no picks. An amazing performance for that Ohio State offense.
393, finished 7 yards short.
Yep. You mentioned the running game and the fact that Ohio State ran the ball one play there. And here right now is Ryan Day talking with Paul Keels and Jim Lachey after the game on the running game.
Well, we want to have balance, as you know, and so we're going to take a look at it. And I think some of the runs, we didn't execute them well enough, and then we'll identify what those things are. We want to score every time we touch the ball. We want every play to go for big yardage. But that, like I said to the team at halftime, I said this is a good defense. They're a solid defense, and they're not going to give you anything. So you have to go earn everything that you get against these guys. And so we're not just going to roll our helmets up there and think we're just going to go down the field and score. So we have to stay focused and continue to execute all the way down the field when a team says, hey, we're going to make you drive the entire length of the field, because that's a good defense that can tackle well. So I thought, to your point, I thought, we were efficient when we threw the ball. For the most part, we'll take a look at it and figure out again, where the breakdowns were.
I think Bo Jackson with 10 carries for 26 yards. He also did catch 5 passes out of the backfield. Isaiah West led the way rushing-wise for Ohio State.
Wisconsin's got one of the better rush defenses around. Like, they're not bad.
They do. I still want to see more out of the running game, Bob. And look, that right there, that it's nitpicking to say something like that. I understand that this team is 7th, they're playing great, but I know Wisconsin's got a good running game, but Ohio State's had probably 4 opponents this year that they should have been able to physically manhandle to run the ball against. And I wanted to see.
Everybody was complaining that all they did was run the ball.
I know, but I don't think the running game, has been as good as I'd hoped it'd be at this point.
Well, I think that there's been some good flashes, and they've had some spots. I don't think it's been as consistent as Ryan would like, and that's part of the problem that they're trying to work through. And some of that, because this offensive line has been playing really well. Their pass protection's good. Yeah. Like, they've opened up holes. Things got a little shot in the arm when Bo Jackson got in there, and obviously he didn't play great in this game. But I think they're still trying to find that combination of what works best, of how they rotate guys and who's able to get in there. And I think that that's an ever-evolving situation, especially when you look at it and still working in some of these young guys like in Isaiah West, who we're starting to see more and more of.
When you look at, let's reset all those stats back to 0 for Ohio State. For the rest of this season, Bo Jackson will probably be the guy who'll be the leading rusher, correct? Would you say Isaiah West is second, probably?
I think that there's a possibility of that.
I think so too.
Those are 2 freshmen out there, which is a little bit scary. I think there's still going to be a role for Donaldson. I think they'll try to get James Peoples in there, but just looking at what some of those guys can do and just having some conversations with people, I think that there's a lot of momentum behind Isaiah West, who is a really hard physical runner that can slide in the hole and move around, and like, he's just a tough guy to bring down. And then Bo Jackson's kind of speed and his home run hitting ability. He does a good job finding the hole, but he's got that next gear that when he pulls away, he can do some damage.
Is Ohio State, and if they aren't, should Ohio State be heading up or trying to incorporate a Heisman campaign for a player on this team? And if so, who would it be?
Well, I mean, you could argue statistically it's probably Carnell Tate right now. I think that there is a lot of momentum. People realize how good JJ is. And, like, the touchdown that Carnell had, the one that we just played there, the safety slides out wide and just vacates the middle quicker than what you normally would because they're trying to get over top to help JJ. And so that opens some stuff up for Carnell. I mean, Julian Sayen's playing as well as anybody. Right. Carson Beck going 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. I mean, you have Mendoza who's playing well. Ty Simpson, I think, at Alabama is really playing well. He's carrying that team. But you could make an argument that Julian Sayen has been as efficient as everybody. Maybe he hasn't had those crazy highlight plays. Now, that last throw to Carnell, I'm putting that in the highlight reel. Yeah. But he hasn't had, crazy runs or, a lot of stuff that's been super flashy. And we focus on how good the receivers are as opposed to maybe how good he is. But he's a big piece of that, too.
Tito, going back to the run game, do you think that the problems that everybody sees have more to do with the fact that when they get in the red zone, that seems to be where things really shut down, and that makes it just that much more obvious to everybody?
I think it's magnified, yes. I think that magnifies the issue for me. Look, I know they've got a decent yards per carry for the season. I think they're averaging like 138 rushing yards a game.
And so a part of it is, and that's a good point, Mo, bringing that up, as you look at it, they've struggled a little bit more in the red zone. I think that's something that Ryan's trying to figure out. And your yards per carry is always going to be significantly less when you get down there because there's just not as many running lanes. Like the defense doesn't have to guard 40 yards down the field anymore. Everything is condensed. And so you look at some of their short yardage situations, they may have 4 yards to go, and it takes them 4 plays to get there. And so that impacts that yards per carry because they honestly, especially against, who did they play last week? Illinois?
Was it Minnesota? It was
Illinois.
Illinois.
They had so many short fields. He's like, we spent a lot of our time in the red zone, so he didn't have a chance to really open a lot of stuff up.
I think, Bob, when I look at it, and I have not done, and this is the best kind of research, I have not done any statistical research on this. This is just my eyeballs and what I see.
Call that anecdotal evidence.
Okay, there we go. Anecdotal evidence. I'll look that up.
Personal experiences.
It feels to me like Ohio State this year has more carries of negative yards to 2 yards than they have in years past.
I don't know if that's true. I think some of those some of the 2-yard stuff might be true, especially just given the fact that they've been in short yardage situations. So 2 yards when you need a yard is sufficient.
Sure it is, yeah.
And so I feel like they've been in a lot of those situations this year.
Here is Ryan Day talking about the bye week, the second bye week, if you will, Bob, coming at a perfect time.
Well, I mean, some of the run game, needs to be better, I think, but we'll go back and figure out what's going on with that. I think we had the special teams breakdown, which we can't have happen. I mean, that can cost you a game, and that was ridiculous. So, there are certainly areas that I won't get into because I don't want to give anybody anything to look at. But
here's our weaknesses.
We know what our issues are, and we have to continually work on them to get them better. And then continually put guys in position to be successful, because sometimes it isn't always the issues as it is, all right, here's a strength of somebody. How do we put them in a position to go do that? And in all 3 phases. So that's our job as coaches. Bye week comes at a good time. We can kind of get healthy here. We know we got a big one at Penn State at home. So we'll take a couple days to catch our breath and then get back after it.
I think the first thing, Bob, and probably the only thing you should do over the next 2 weeks is just work on that stopping the unintentional fake punt play that Wisconsin ran, because they're giving up 19 yards a carry every time a team does that.
Well, they had a chance to stop them.
They did, I know. They missed it was at
28.
It was Pettijohn, right? Missed the tackle, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was Pettijohn. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch. I think it was 28. I don't think it was Riley. If it's Riley, he's getting slaughtered for that one. But yes, the unintentional was the punt fake, and Ryan's upset. I mean, because it wasn't even, they were really backed up, and it was really long.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was 4th and what, 18,
something crazy, 15? Like 4th and 15. I think it was 4th and 15. Yeah,
I mean, it was much more. It was much longer than 10, and that punter wasn't exactly running at a breakneck pace. And you had somebody there at about 10 yards that could have stopped it and didn't.
Yeah. And so but as far as like the bye week coming at a good time, work on the run game a little bit, I guess. But the Penn State game, plenty of time to prep for them. Certainly doesn't have the same meaning as it would have before. Let me ask you this about the defense.
Curious
Bob.
if they're going to keep that game at Big Noon. Someone had mentioned that they may not, and I was looking around. I think there's Nebraska USC maybe that weekend.
Which would,
it would have helped if
Nebraska
it would have
won.
helped if Penn State would have beat Iowa.
Yeah.
Which they narrowly lost to, but I still think there'll be enough juice. I'll have to see who Penn State plays this week. Ohio State obviously on a bye, but Penn State's still going to be a big draw and a big get, so I can't imagine them moving off of that.
The other, so the other games that week in the Big Ten, you got Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana at Maryland, Rutgers at Illinois. You've got Purdue at Michigan, Michigan State at Minnesota, USC at Nebraska. It's going to be Penn State, Ohio State, big noon.
I would imagine.
It's got to be at this point. I think it would be.
I mean, Indiana, Maryland, little bit of intrigue there, maybe. I don't know.
Is this a very simplistic way to look at it, Bob? That
simple thoughts.
Yes.
Simple Jeff.
Fitbits.
Like Simple Jack.
Last year's Ohio State team, the defense, which was among the best in the country, lost 8 players from this year's team.
Statistically, people would tell you that it was the best in the
Yes.
country.
Yes.
How about that?
That's fine. You could say that. They've lost 8 players, a bunch of guys in the league now, right? Like they didn't lose bums. They lost some damn good players.
Yeah.
Okay. The defense this year.
Usually not losing bums off a national
That's fair.
championship.
That's
to get
fair.
that off.
But I'm saying,
I don't mean to be Captain Obvious in
that's
this
fine.
situation,
That's
but
fair.
when
Bums
you
is
won
wrong
the
word.
national
Yes.
championship and statistically had the best defense, probably not a whole lot of bums just hanging around
Fair.
out there.
They lost
This
8.
isn't like the Wharf at San Francisco, okay?
They lost 8 very key contributors on what some would say is the best defense in the country last year. And this year's defense.
You saying that or just some?
Some.
are saying that?
Okay. This year's defense is better. Okay?
Is that a declarative statement by you?
Yes, I'm saying that. This team is better.
Right.
Does that mean that Matt Patricia is a better defensive coordinator than Jim Knowles?
So you could make that argument.
That's that simplistic argument I was making.
It is, well, I would like to decode. So there's a couple things that come into play. Every year it's going to be a little bit different. Just like the offense this year is really good. It looks a lot different than the offense last year.
Right.
Just based upon kind of the players that you have and what their strengths are. And you heard Ryan in that last clip talk about our goal is to get everybody in a position where they're utilizing their talent. We're utilizing their talent and strengths to the best of their ability. And so that's a goal for this coaching staff, is always to put them in the best situation they can. And so when you start talking about different guys and they have different skill sets, and even over time, guys' skill sets can develop. You know, Arvell Reese played a little bit last year. He is a much different player than Cody Simon. Not that that's better or worse, but there's just some differences, and there's some versatility that he has that maybe Cody didn't have. There's some experience and knowledge of things that Cody had that Arvell doesn't have. And so they're playing the same, quote, position, but playing it far differently than the other one would have, just leaning into those players' strengths. So you've got some corners that came back that were really good, that you felt good about that. You've got obviously Caleb Downs, who was great. You know, you replaced the whole D-line. And Matt Patricia, I think this is where it comes in, is there are some areas of this defense that are unbelievable and dynamic. And just like any situation, there's going to be areas where you need to get a little help or maybe need to cover something or hide it a little bit, a little masking, a little makeup. And I think that's where Matt Patricia is able to do this probably better than Jim Knowles could have.
Right.
Minus the probably. Is able to do it better than Jim Knowles, I think, could have. Is his ability to take what you're really good at and lean into that and utilize some of those skills to help mask some of the areas that you might be deficient in. And so that's what's been really impressive to me is, yes, this defense is really good. I don't think there'll be a game where they'll give up more than 17 points all year long. And when you do that, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. And you're able to do that because of I think the versatility of that defense, but Matt being able to use that versatility in the most efficient ways possible.
a shutout in college football is a beautiful thing. It doesn't happen that often. Ohio State's got 2 of them, and especially one in common. I know Grambling State. I know Wisconsin's had their struggles this year, but still, being able to get 2 shutouts is still pretty damn impressive.
I saw a stat this weekend after that game. All the teams that Ohio State has played are averaging 33 points per game.
Uh-huh.
Ohio State's defense is only giving up an average of 9 points. So it's not like these teams
less than that now, right? Is it 41 points in 7 games?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
So it's not like these teams don't know how to score.
Right.
And even Grambling State, was not anywhere near as talented, they do score. So I think I've seen the Twitter warriors try to make that argument, and it's like, look, this team really does have a dominant defense.
You look at it, Mo, and you would figure in a college, because Ohio State, it's not like they're rolling their first string out there the entire games. They're especially against Grambling State and against some of the.
Well, that's what the argument. I don't know if you heard. It was 3:30, so it would have been Danielson.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, it looks like that Ohio State defense. They've got all their guys out there trying to preserve the shutout. And then he started knowing. He's like, well, actually, they have subbed a lot of guys in here, and these aren't the guys that were out there for the majority of the game. And I'm like, you just really couldn't tell because the drop in play wasn't significant. And so you've got like Riley Pettijohn and Peyton Pierce. While they may not be Sonny and Arvell, they're different players of how they go about it. They're really good too. Yeah, you watch it like you've got your backups in there, and they're not giving up some fluke play, some busted coverage play. It's a damn shutout. That's really hard to do, especially in conference play. It's the final Capital Ford of Columbus high school football game of the week of the season. Heads over to the Fan 2 this Friday as Olentangy hosts Olentangy Berlin. Coverage starts at 6:30. The kick at 7. And then after the Blue Jackets game on the Fan, it's the Bayer Subaru Dublin's Overtime with Ryan Baker, Lee Cochran. Friday nights are for high school football on the Fan. Can't believe we're in the last week of the regular season here, Bob. And in high school football, it has fall is certainly falling. Coming up next, we'll hit on a couple things. The NFL that happened this weekend, plus I'm going to throw a rare stat at you, Bob, that I'm 99% sure is accurate. We will do that next. Morning Juice.
It's been over 2 years since Bobby Carpenter had regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. He needed relief from knee pain, but he wanted to avoid surgery.
I thought I might have to have my knee scoped, had some injuries, some lingering pain from stuff that I had been dealing with from years of playing professional football, and things had kind of flared up again. I started talking to a friend of mine who's orthopedic, and he's like, well, try to avoid surgery if you can.
And you absolutely can avoid surgery. QC Kinetics provides patients with state-of-the-art regenerative treatments, orthobiologics from your own body that help heal and restore damaged, aching joints. And we'll let Bobby tell you about that.
It was all of a sudden that one day, a couple months later, I was here, let's go jog, let's try to see what I could do. And the more I did, I was pain-free with it, and it was actually a pretty remarkable process.
Before going under the knife, see if you're a candidate for non-surgical joint pain treatments at QC Kinetics. Call them today.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned, so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
I always tell people I was the luckiest guy in the world. I wanted to be an Army man or a fireman, and I got to do both. As a firefighter, my job was about saving lives. I never thought one day I would be fighting for mine.
After spending his career answering the call to save others, Ken was diagnosed with ALS. Now he's facing his biggest battle, for more time. For 70 years, Muscular Dystrophy Association has been answering the call to help people live longer and more independent lives.
MDA means to me hope.
MDA is leading the way for people living with ALS, muscular dystrophy, and other neuromuscular diseases by accelerating research, advancing care, and advocating to empower families like Ken's.
I wouldn't be living as good of a life with ALS if it wasn't for MDA. MDA is helping people live stronger and love longer. Learn more at mda.org today.
Attack and dominate. You're locked into Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Here's Bobby and Tito.
All right, Bob. I think this is true. I think we have a chance for something to happen this year, Bob, that has never happened before in the history of sports. If the Dodgers, who are already in the World Series, they're waiting to see who wins Game 7 tonight between Toronto and Seattle, see who they're going to play. If the Dodgers win the World Series again this year, Bob, they will be back-to-back champions of the World Series. That's true. That's not the part I was saying.
Yeah.
If Ohio State wins the Natty this year, they will also have back-to-back championships. It's never happened before that a team has won back-to-back World Series in the same time that a team has won back-to-back outright college football championships.
Oh, sounds like a parlay time.
Baker already placed the parlay. I talked to him about it on Saturday. Baker did it. He did it like on Friday night without knowing that was a stat. But yeah, it's never happened before.
Going against history.
Going against history right there.
Do you feel like those two things are related or just happen to be coincidence?
I think it happens to be related coincidentally. NFL this weekend, Bob, there were some real ugly games out there. The game in London. God,
that's so beautiful. Jags.
They're home,
Great
away from
Britain's
home.
Team.
Yes, they got rolled. Stafford looked damn good in that game, too.
Yeah, remember how they were saying at Stafford they were all beat up and they were not going to be good?
Mm-hmm.
At Yahtzee, it's on here before us. I'm like, it's all I need to know.
Right, that's right.
If you're rolling against them, give me the Rams.
I don't know when the last time this happened. I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't pay attention to it. But the Browns, Bengals, and Buckeyes all winning in the same week.
The Browns, I'm watching that game, I'm thinking, man, the Dolphins really must feel terrible about themselves. You're getting run by the Browns, not just losing.
Right.
Quinshon Judkins looks like you're Notre Dame in the national championship, just running all over you. And then they throw that pick six coming out at halftime. I'm like, wait, is this a highlight? Are we still in the highlight portion, or is this like the first drive?
And yet Mike McDaniel still looks like he doesn't care.
Yeah, I know.
If you were ever, listen, Mo, if you want to sit there and vape on the sideline, you're not going to care about a lot.
That's true.
I give him a lot of credit. Like, most people would get upset about that. I think it's all good, bro.
I've hit a point, Bob, where I think that McDaniel would be relieved to get fired. It could be good for him. I'm not saying you come out and say it, but I think it could be good for him.
Sure.
I think the same thing about Fickell in Wisconsin. You know what I mean? like. With all the
if you just show up one day and they have the proverbial revolver with the single shot in there, you know, instead of just dragging this out anymore, here you go.
Don't you think, like, at this point, with all the crap that's being said about the Wisconsin program, Fickell, it'll almost be relief for him to
harassing his kids.
He's gonna have to go somewhere and be a DC again before he's a head coach again at a Power 4 school, right?
Yeah,
fair to say? He'll have to do that.
I think so.
As a matter of fact, if I'm him right now, I would.
It's a big if.
Listen, I would be right now. I'd be calling Matty P. Say, man, you've outgrown this job already. You need back in the NFL, dude.
I don't think someone brought that up. Matt Patricia. I was like, I don't believe. I don't know this for certain. I never like to speak for people, but I don't believe that Matt Patricia is like looking at leaving and going to another job right now.
That wouldn't surprise me. No, I wouldn't.
I honestly don't. And I don't think Chip Kelly was last year. No, they offered to pay. Chip Kelly didn't want to recruit. And they offered to pay him, $5 million just to be a coordinator.
Right. No,
he didn't do anything else.
Sure.
It's great. Like, all right, yeah, I'm going to do that. But Chip was older. Chip's in his 60s and didn't have any family. Like, he's married, but didn't have any kids or anything. Matt Patricia has kids like that are in school-age kids that are here in Columbus. And I believe that he's probably at the point of his career. I mean, the dude's won a bunch of Super Bowls as an assistant. He's been a head coach. I think he really enjoys working with Ryan. I know he loves the fact he's like, man, when I'm here, I got better players than everyone I'm playing against.
It's a hell of a lot easier.
It's a different challenge because people are complaining about a 34-0 victory. And, like, the argument is, like, you get a fake punt and why didn't you get a stop here or there? You know, and we're talking about these some of the great things on defense, and then people are saying, well, you know, you gave up this play or that, and, well, he could have been better here. And so they're first world problems.
Right.
But he's like, man, it's really nice knowing you're going in there with, like, 98% of the time you've got better players. And he's like, we've got really good guys, like good, not just good players, but good people here, which makes it so much easier to do your job. They've got a really nice staff. Like, they just have a lot of things that, not that he would never leave here, and not that there's not, you know, a job that I would say that if something came open, he wouldn't go. But I think it would have to be something that he would have to say, like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me to turn down. I really enjoy this. I like coaching with Ryan. I like our staff. I like our players, like living here. Like, there's just a lot of things that I think that he is enjoying about this.
Sure.
That sometimes in life, I think you get to a station where let's not mess up happy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the Dwight Schrute line, or the Andy Bernard line from The Office. Mr. Ed Helms delivers, like, did you ever know you were in the good old days when you were actually in the good old days?
Sure.
And it's, you move and you're like, man, I probably shouldn't have left there. And this is my argument with why one of our great listeners and a friend of mine, next week I'll be down in Orlando, speaking at the Orlando Touchdown Club. Help set that up, but a big Buckeye fan, and texted me, we were talking about Lane Kiffin, or talking about Florida. She goes, they want Lane Kiffin down here. I go, I don't know that Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss for Florida. I think he likes it there.
Yeah.
I think he's in a good spot, personally, professionally. You know, they end up losing to Georgia this weekend, but I don't think that that's related to anything else. And I just sometimes, you know, I look at Matt Patricia, and this is the same thing I said with Ryan. Before people wanted to fire him, they were worried about him leaving on his own. You know, he had really the greatest flip-flop in the world where everybody was worried about him leaving for the NFL in a couple of years, and then a couple of years after that, everybody wanted to fire him, and now everyone's back on the bandwagon.
Right.
Snip, snap again. But I said, I can't tell you that Ryan's never going to leave here, but I can tell you this. Like, I hear him talk. I think I have an idea of what he values in this world based upon what he's said publicly and just some conversations. And knowing that he is a guy that football is very important, but family is really important as well. And when your family's happy and you're in a good spot and people are enjoying things, and he talks about his kids growing up Buckeyes and the fact that they had moved 3 times in 4 years.
Right.
You had young kids, like, you've lived in the same house now for a long time. Your kids are growing, they have family. As long as they're not getting harassed at school by lunatics, then everything's good. And there's probably a little bit of that with Matt Patricia, who's a guy who's in his 50s now, who's coached a lot, who's done a lot of things, who's achieved a lot of stuff. You're like, hey, man, kids are happy, wife's happy, I'm happy going to work. We win a lot of games.
Yeah.
Like, things are pretty good. Not that there's not something out there that would be appealing and possibly enticing, but it's not something like, man, I've always, like, hey, we're winning a lot. This would be good for my resume. Like, I'm on my way out of here, maybe to get a DC job in the NFL, maybe to get a head job in college. I don't know. I mean, there's no one had ever watched him coach in college before. Like, well, this guy seems to do a pretty good job. His players really seem to like him too, and he seems to be pretty good in recruiting. Maybe he would be a guy that could be a head coach, you know, like, and maybe that is something that he would want to do, but I don't think that that's something that is a focus or a goal of his at this point. When you're a young coach and you're looking like, hey, when can I get my first job? Or when can I go from position to coordinator? Or when can I go from this coordinating job to this bigger coordinating job? Like, you kind of have those things mapped out because there's, you know, some blind ambition of what you would like to achieve in your life. Whereas as you get older, there's a little bit more, you're a little more reflective, I think, of things that have happened, what's gone on, and what matters maybe versus what you think matters, the perception of what might be real. So all those factors, just kind of take them into account. I'm like, okay, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'd like to think that I can, you know, build a case for things when I see it and be able to connect the dots and just listen to people talk if you let people talk long enough, they'll generally tell you what they think. You just got to give them that opportunity.
That's why I speak in short sentences, Bob. When it comes to the Patricia thing, yes, you're right. I don't. It's Matt Patricia is at the highest point a coordinator can be at in college football, I believe. The Ohio State DC under Ryan Day, I think.
It's like Your Highness.
That's Your Highness, yes. Now, other people like at Penn State may pay you more money, like they with Jim Knowles, but I'm saying as far as like prestige goes and as far as where he's at.
But
like,
you're working, but then you have to work for James Franklin and not Ryan Day.
Right. Yeah, so I'm saying.
So that's also part of the job.
The prestige part, though,
is what the money's for.
And so, and I think, Bob, that's a great point you brought up. The fact he's not out chasing a Super Bowl ring. He's got plenty. He's got rings already. It's like, and I know he was a head coach winning a ring, but still.
He's the only guy that's been an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator.
Another thing right there, too. That's great on the resume as well. But it just, I'm not sitting. I hope he's not looking one eye out the door, but I feel like that'd be the best thing for Fickell, would be the DC at Ohio State to rehab his reputation a little bit.
Well, the other thing is now, and is with how they changed college football, is by taking the limits off people that can coach. You can come in and you can coach at different places, and there's not just 10 assistants anymore and analysts.
Right.
Like, you can be an on-field coach and not be a position coach or a coordinator, someone who has a specific role. Come in and they're consultants or whatever. I'm going to help with this. I'm going to help this group. Maybe that's here. Maybe that's somewhere else. It may be at Notre Dame with Marcus.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm here.
That's why you're here. Hey, Notre Dame's had some defensive coordinator problems. Hey, you do. You make good
George
points.
Costanza.
You do.
By the way, he coached with Chris Ash before. Like that.
Yeah.
That also would be a fit. And I'm not saying he should do this or that or anything else, but like, you just look at the landscape and kind of see what would potentially be out there, what would make sense, what would be a fit, and maybe some of that is, you know what, take a year off.
Yeah.
Those things are all real too. So there's a lot of different opportunities there and things that you look at that they could be real. And I don't know, like everybody, I would say everybody's selection set and things they value in life are different. Because some people say, how could you ever turn down this job? Or how could you ever turn down this much money? I'm like, well, if those aren't things you value, then that doesn't matter to you.
Easy, yeah.
It matters to somebody else.
Also in the NFL, Dave Raves got a little bit revenge. Tennessee started off looking pretty good against New England, but New England's winning that game easily, 31-13. Ramondre Stevenson for New England had 18 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown, and also had 2 receptions. And Travion Henderson only had the 2 touches, and he rushed for 5 yards. I've been surprised. And Stevenson's playing well, and I get it, but Stevenson also, usually if you fumbled, you were done for the year in New England. They're giving him more leeway. He's had a few fumbles this year, but I'm surprised Travion's not getting more play in New England.
Here's the thing. They're winning, okay?
Yep.
Which is, at least to my knowledge, still the primary objective of playing the game is to win. So they're winning. And so as I look at that, I'm like, all right, well, I don't know if they want to try to change up what they're doing too much. I think that's part of it. He's a rookie. He's shown some flashes. I know they like him up there. And they've probably developed a little routine and developed their game plan and strategy and everything they want to do this year. And maybe those things kind of morph and move a little slowly, but this isn't going to be a situation where, like, hey, we need to find a way to get this guy the ball more. We're winning. We're good. We have a young quarterback who feels comfortable in it. Like, let's not try to change everything too terribly much.
I get that, but I feel like if you asked me before, like, I would want to give Travion, and not that you have to go in there and say, okay, we're going to make sure he gets this many touches, but I'm surprised you only got 2 carries in the game.
Yeah, so am I. Sometimes that happens. And Vrabes is going to ride guys that are playing well when you're winning and things are working. Yeah, but sometimes you're just not making those big changes. Like, that's just part of it.
But nonetheless, though, a good win for Vrabel. He's got that team rolling right now. They are now 5-2, atop obviously the AFC East, and they are right now would be the 2 seed if the playoffs started today behind, good Lord, Indianapolis. It would be Indianapolis the 1, New England the 2, Denver the 3, and Pittsburgh the 4 at this point. If the playoffs started today, you would not see the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs on the AFC side. On the NFC side right now, if that ended today, again, it'd be Tampa Bay as the 1 seed, followed by Green Bay, San Francisco, Philly, the Rams, and Seahawks and Lions after that. So but obviously a lot of football left to be played. We have only, this is week 7. We're just finishing up. We got a doubleheader today. Tonight, Bobby, we got a great Monday night doubleheader because I like the way they got with the 7 o'clock and then a 10 o'clock game. 7 o'clock game is Tampa Bay and Detroit. That should be a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited to get to watch at least a good chunk of that game.
Yeah, the way they've been doing these doubleheaders has been pretty sweet, and I think everybody's really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the early start. That was the beauty of living on Central Time, and so when you get a chance to live on Central Time, it's absolutely tremendous, and it's a lot of fun. Hopefully, the stuff you get to do this and continue to move forward because, the 8:30 start, I'm not usually seeing the end of that, although I did watch almost all of it last night. It's a pretty cool situation and opportunity there. So I like that they've done this and the dual stuff. You can slide back and forth. The reality is there's so much inventory on Sunday. As long as you have enough games, you can spread out. I think people are a fan of it. And what else they're a fan of is if you need a bank that truly values local business in this town and the opportunity to work alongside them as partners, whether you're a small business or a large operation, Riverside Bank of Dublin have the right tools for the job. Riverside Bank of Dublin has the experience of working right here in Central Ohio. They understand the business climate in our area and will help you reach your goals, whether you need an SBA loan to get your business off the ground, a line of credit to keep your business running smoothly, or equipment financing to get your business up to scale. Riverside Bank will tailor a solution that fits your needs. Visit them at riverside.bank or stop in to get to know them at 6300 France Road. Riverside Bank of Dublin, number FDIC, equal housing lender.
All right, coming next, we'll close things out. Tell you who's got us juice. Morning Juice.
Football season's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota. Right now, drive home a rugged 2025 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% APR for up to 48 months. Or go big with the all-new 2026 Toyota Tundra, also 2.99 APR for up to 72 months. Built tough, built smart, built for whatever your game day brings. Find your next Toyota at Germain Toyota at the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or start your next adventure online at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota of Columbus. See dealer for details.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
In honor of all those we've lost to cancer and those still fighting and thriving, like basketball analyst and cancer champion Dick Vitale.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. Join our team to help fund game-changing research that saves lives. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over health disparities, victory over setbacks, victory over the unknown. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate to the V Foundation to join our team and help save lives.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul.
100% of donations fund game-changing cancer research. Donate now to the V Foundation at v.org.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. With online news, social media, and texting available 24/7, the world seems to be spinning faster and faster every day. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we just need to unplug and take a break from our electronic devices. It can help reduce stress and allow us to reflect on the things that are really important in our lives.
This message brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Since 2003, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post 9/11 veterans adjust back to civilian life. Through specialized programs, they begin healing their bodies and minds while regaining a sense of camaraderie. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
We built a brand new studio just for Bobby, and Tito has already ruined it just by being here. I'm pregnant. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice, final segment of the program. Thanks for joining us Monday. Appreciate that. Thank you all the chatters in there, too. Been a lively chat today, Bobby. Hope you guys had fun with us today. Brody will be back tomorrow with Tales of South Bend and maybe a new tattoo. Who knows? Or maybe just a criminal record. I'm not sure if he looted after that win or not against Southern Cal. We'll get the details on that one. Also, make sure you tune in tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We'll have a Schlegel's Day tomorrow. Anthony Schlegel joining us. That'll be a lot of fun, as it always is. But right now, we're going to tell you guys...
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
All right, Bobby. My sheet show, whatever, says Monday. That means you go first.
Oh, well, thank you, Thitoff. Big weekend. It was a fun time watching a little Ohio State, Wisconsin. It was nice with that game being the most chill on my wife. God bless her. She's like, I like watching the Ohio State game just on the big TV without any of the other games going on. I go, so do I. But this game is going to be a sucky game because it's not going to be that entertaining except for watching touchdowns and 3-and-outs by Wisconsin. So it's nice when Ohio State has a game that I don't have to worry about and we can watch, and I can watch some of that Ole Miss and Georgia were in that same window. Not a lot of other huge games in that window. So we did watch almost all of it. Solo dedicated to the center television with the adjacent games being in the smaller television to the side. But an unbelievable weekend of college football. I mean, Kentucky, Texas, Notre Dame, and USC, Bama, Tennessee was good. There was just good games aplenty. Oh, the Holy War. You look at everything that was ultimately went down. Georgia Tech and Duke was a good game. There was just fun one-score games all over the place. So if you're a fan of college football, last weekend, man, it was for you. And moving forward, hopefully there'll be more of those happening. And watching Julian Sayin play like he did, that had me juiced in a big way. I figured the defense would come out and be able to put up probably a shutout, maybe yield 3, and they had a chance. Fick could have probably taken 3 at the end, but instead, fans want to see you go for a touchdown. They want to see you try to get in the end zone. And he did it. But just keep a goose egg on the board when you get stuffed. Literally stoned by Aaron Scott on 4th down to end the game. Finished up some football for my third son, Cullen, on Sunday. It was beautiful all fall long. Hot.
Yeah.
Very intense. And then this last weekend was miserable. And not the weekend, just I guess Sunday. Very cold, very rainy, Jeff,
yes,
and a lot of wind on there too, which helps amplify that rain when you get a little chilly. So it was a little bit rough, but you know what? He wrapped up his Little League football career. Next year, he'll be playing over at the middle school, so that's exciting to see. So I will no longer probably be coaching him on a permanent basis moving forward. Had a good time with it, and I'm excited to watch him go forward and continue to learn and play and continue to grow. With that, and then had a little flag football yesterday, Jeff, and it was really cold and rainy in the morning when that was going on. But we've got one more here this weekend over in Ohio Stadium, so excited to get that done. All that has me juiced. Mo, what we got today from Schlegs?
You guys know George Dickel. We talked about this, right? Dickel will do you, know? And then I was talking to my sister-in-law about it, and she was talking to me about the Dr. Dickel, right? Some George Dickel and some Dr. Pepper. Well, you know what I did yesterday? I had a Monster Dickel where I freaking put a lot of that into a Monster Ultra, 10 calories. And let me tell you something. It'll do you.
I mean, he sounded like my grandfather talking right there. It'll do you.
What do you got for us, Mo?
Well, I don't know how you follow Schlegs like that.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. First, really, kind of the opposite of Bobby, because I didn't have to be outside yesterday.
Yeah.
I am just juiced about the fall weather. It was windy and it was overcast, but I really love that. And I just, if I was in his shoes and had to sit outside in it, I may have been a little upset. So I'm juiced that it's finally feeling like fall. Also juiced about my show this weekend. It was just unreal. Spent months writing it and directing and performing, and to see a bunch of people come together for it was great. The only thing that was a downside is I had to take a night off of calling high school football.
Right.
So I'm ready to get back to that this week and get right back in the press box and watch some football. Unfortunately, in Marion County, doesn't look promising that there will be any playoff teams, so my football season will be coming to an end more than likely on Friday. And then the other thing I'm really juiced about, and just don't yell at me too much, but we are just, my wife and I, just now getting into the series Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Love that. I could, if I had time, I'd probably watch it just every hour on the hour. Just if you're a sports fan, if you have always loved just anything sports, it is the greatest show to watch. That's the coaching philosophies that he uses. And I know a lot of people think, well, it's about soccer. It's about so much more than soccer, and it's funny, it's heartfelt. So I'm juiced about that as well, and probably when I get some free time, we'll finish watching that series.
How many seasons are there, like 4 or 5?
There's 3 with the 4th one coming up.
That's the last one, though, right?
Well, they haven't said. They started filming it. They thought season 3 was going to be the last one.
That's what I thought.
And what they're doing is he's moving back to America, and so season 4 is him in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they've started filming it. But, yeah, they had it very much like just mysterious. You didn't know what was happening. So, yeah, it's a great show. Love the show.
It was a great weekend. Results-wise, not necessarily as far as for the youth sports goes, but, yeah, Bob, out there on Sunday, I should say. I tried saying Saturday for the second time there, Bob. On Sunday, though, that wind and rain, but it was fun, though, seeing the kids compete in those elements.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's really good. Really thriving in that
just fun to see
40-mile-an-hour wind with 50 degrees of rain.
All those kids are wet and cold. They're shivering, but they're out there competing, and that was fun. So it was fun to watch all of that. And then the soccer game yesterday afternoon, too. So I already had the 2 flag football games, and then the soccer game at like 3:30 out there. And he loves playing soccer in the mud, in the rain, and all of that. He had a good time doing that. It was a lot of fun watching that as well. Great weekend for watching sports. And Captain, tonight I'm going to try to stay and watch some part of that 7 o'clock game there with the Buccaneers and the Lions. That should be fun to watch. But happy for Brody being out there and getting to see a win for his Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's always good for him to see that. And, his Cowboys get a win yesterday as well.
Oh, yeah.
Seems too bad he's not here to brag about that.
Big weekend. Cowboy and Irish victory.
Yes.
Two in a row for him.
2 in a row for him now. He's on a roll. He may be able to just stop following sports now, so he can go out on a high note there. But, it was a fun weekend all around for that kind of stuff. And we get the bye week now for Ohio State before they take on Penn State coming up on November 1st. It is such a weak schedule in the Big Ten, even this week, Bob. And I started thinking about this, and I do agree that the SEC gets way too much love. But when you look at the schedule...
Their worst teams aren't bad, though. That's the problem. The worst teams in the Big Ten don't care.
When you look at the schedule this week for the Big Ten, Bob, stop me when you hear an intriguing game. UCLA at Indiana.
Don't tell me with a good... By the way, UCLA 3-0.
I understand that.
In the Big Ten.
Big noon game, too, by the way.
They're tied with Ohio State.
Oh, my God, that's right.
You got to win out, man.
Yes.
That game, the game the week before Michigan, that might be a big
noon
one.
Might be a big noon one there, too.
Hey, could be for a chance to go to the Big Ten Championship.
You're right. They might be important there. Northwestern's at Nebraska. No.
That's tremendous.
Rutgers at Purdue.
That is one that is appointment television.
It's on Comedy Central at noon. Illinois at Washington.
There's intrigue. That'll be a good one. There's intrigue there.
Minnesota at Iowa.
Illinois ranked 23rd.
I know.
Washington
23rd.
favored by 5.5.
Yeah. The only problem with that, look, Illinois is ranked 23rd, but they've got the vibes of Indiana last year where they didn't really intrigue me because they couldn't beat Illinois' 2 losses are Indiana, Ohio State.
That's fine. That's probably their 2 losses.
And then you got to think about will 2-loss Illinois get into the CFP. Minnesota at Iowa. Not really much there that intrigues me.
It'll be a rock fight.
Wisconsin at Oregon. One team will have a rock, one team will have a boulder.
Yeah.
And then that's a 7 o'clock game on FS1.
The battle for the mitten.
And then Michigan's at Michigan State at 7:30 on NBC.
It's the mitten battle. So is Big Noon at Indiana then?
Big Noon's at Indiana.
Undefeated.
I'm sorry. The Big Noon game's in Indiana. I'm not sure the Big Noon kickoff show is. I imagine it might still be there also. I don't know.
They always do them.
They always do the same spot?
Generally.
Yeah, I thought they...
Very rarely have they split them. Indiana, check that. UCLA 3-1 in the Big Ten. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push them.
I think last week.
Line.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, UCLA at Indiana, though, yes. That game will be in Indiana's favored by a robust 24.5 in that game.
They try to make that UCLA-Indiana game Big Noon.
There's no other...
No. The UCLA-Ohio State game, Big Noon, I will throw up on myself.
Would that be great if that happened, Bob?
No, it wouldn't.
Is that right before Michigan? Or is it 2 weeks before? I think they have Rutgers. Don't they have Rutgers
right before? It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think they have Rutgers right before it. But, UCLA is certainly looking, obviously better than they've won 3 straight there.
Yeah.
It is, it's right. It was 2 weeks before because after UCLA plays Ohio. So UCLA got Indiana this weekend, and they host Nebraska and at Ohio State.
That's looking Big Noonish.
I'm trying to think what those games are.
Maryland, Illinois.
On the 15th, that's what it is?
Michigan, Northwestern. Purdue, Washington, Penn State, Michigan State. That's the land-grant trophy. That's a big one. The folks will care. Iowa at USC, but that could be a decent record game, but USC is in the West Coast, so they're not going to do that.
Nope.
And then Minnesota and Oregon, which actually might not be terrible. That's Friday night. That's already slated in there. So
that's Friday. The big new game's going to be UCLA Ohio State, isn't it, Bob? It's going to be that.
It better not be. I want that to be a 3:30 game.
I think that's what we're looking at, Bob. I think you've talked me into it. I think that'll be the game.
It's terrible.
So I think we've already dumped our tickets for that game. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the schedule there for that one. And what else has me juiced is the feeling yesterday I got. It felt, I know this tells you how old I am, Bob, is that it felt like winter to me.
I don't know if it felt like winter. It felt like what I call Ohio misery, which is not really cold, but not warm, raining outside, which in gray, which is Ohio's number 1 season. Although it's been really nice. It hasn't rained. It hasn't been gray, but I feel like we're getting into the long gray slog right now.
Right. Yeah, I think we are too. But it was one of those days where I had to take...
About 2 months, it'll be the shortest day of the year, so...
I had to take... Is it 2 months? I guess we'll be... Yeah. I had to take a shower to warm up yesterday after being outside there.
Of course. It's freezing.
And it was one of those things,
Bob. Fireplace going.
Yeah, it's one of those things, Bob, where it was one of those kind of showers where I was so cold the warm water stung when it hit my body.
Burned a little bit.
Yeah, spurred a little bit there. So thank you much for all the juicers tuning in today there on the chat. We always appreciate that, watching us.
Steve Kerr really thriving in the chat today.
I almost banned him. I almost blocked him put him in timeout just because it's tradition. Now I think we have to do it. I feel like with Steve Kerr on the chat, we need a gong, like the old gong show. Whenever someone starts getting it, and if one person gongs him, he's off the show for a while or something. He gets eliminated. So we have to incorporate a Steve Kerr gong here. But we'll get Brody all over that tomorrow. Big Mo, great job, buddy.
Thank you.
Let's do it again Thursday with you. You bet. Make sure you guys tune in again tomorrow. Thanks so much, Juice. We appreciate this. But Morning Juice.